Do you need an iPad? Or can you DJ just fine with the DJay Pro app for your phone? Are starting out in classic mode, and if you guys can tell, they look pretty much exactly the same. I had to look for a while to see if there was anything missing from the iPhone one, and I was only able to find one thing, and that is there is this loop button. If you look at the iPad over here, we could control our loop, we could adjust it, we could turn it on, turn it off. We have that loop feature up there to the top left, and we do not have it on the phone. But besides that, in this view, both apps are pretty much exactly the same. So this one goes. Now let's see if we start opening up some more features, if we lose or gain anything. So on the iPad, if we press this middle button here, we get some waveforms. So if you notice, we have these jog wheels or emulated record decks, and then we have our waveforms, and these are active waveforms that we could use as jog wheels if we wanted to. Now on the phone, if we press this middle button, we lose the jog wheel. And now we're going to go to this one over here to the left that represents our EQ settings. So this is really cool. It's amazing how they were able to fit all of this, especially in the one for the iPhone. But we have a full mixer, low, mid, and high. We could even change it to narrow mix. And now, again, this is the exact same thing on the iPad and on the phone, just a little bit smaller, obviously, on the iPhone. Now, if we go to our looper and sampler, so we are in the looper, so it is kind of limited for the phone. If you plan on using the amazing looper feature and you really like the looper and samplers, then I would say it's worth it definitely for the iPad because it is quite limited for the phone. You can do it, but it is a little bit limited. So if we switch over to our samples, we get 8 samples. If we switch over to here, we get 8 samples too. But the difference is we still have the jog wheel and all of this over here on the iPad. With the phone, we have no access to our jog wheel, which kind of gets annoying. Not annoying. Sometimes I always like to have some way to access my jog wheel and scratch and adjust the track, even if it's just these waveforms. So we do lose that in the iPhone version. So if we open our music selector over here to get to our library and to get to our music sources, we're going to see that it is quite easy. We still get a good view of what's going on the iPad. Once you touch something on the iPad, the library goes away. But on the phone, once we go into our library and our music sources, we can't see anything. Even though it exits out of the library when you touch the screen, you can still see what's going on. With the phone, you lose that feature. You can't see what's going on while you're searching for your song. It's not the biggest deal because if you organize your playlist and stuff like that, then you could find your tracks really quick. But it is something to think about, and it is a small limitation. Now we're going to go to Pro mode. So on both apps, you press the middle button to get to our different modes. The only thing that is different is on the MacBook. So we're in Classic. Now we're going to go to Pro mode. So we are in Pro mode on both apps. And I think that this view right here is the best view that you could get for the phone. You could access the most features in this view. Biggest difference between the phone and the iPad in this Pro view mode is that you're going to get vertical waveforms on the phone and you're going to get horizontal waveforms on the iPad, and obviously the ones on the iPad are bigger. If you are switching from the phone to the iPad and you got used to these vertical jog wheels or you use other software with vertical jog wheels, you could easily press one of these drop-down menu, either the 1 or the 2 over here, and then we can make our waveforms vertical if you want, but I like to leave them horizontal on the iPad. Now, this middle button does the same on both. You could get a full mixer view, the same thing that's in the middle on the classic mode, so I'm not going to get into it too much, but you get so much on the iPad. You have a full mixer and everything. Now, the one limitation is going to be that now we have this jog wheel here on the iPad. We have the waveforms over here as well. If we press this button down here to get to our features, it does the same thing as if you're in classic mode over here and pressing this button, we get all our features, but now we lose access to that jog wheel. So you could keep the middle button and have the waveforms there, and then we have all of our features, but we lose our jog wheel. With the iPad, you still get the jog wheel, you still get all of that up there, and then we can have all our features here without interrupting the top part. So that is one of the limitations because the space is limited. Is it the biggest deal? No, because we can scratch and stuff with the waveforms. Both of the jog wheels are pretty much exactly the same, and I'm pretty sure they might be bigger on the phone, or they might be the exact same size. I can't really tell, but they are really advanced. You could see the BPM and different types of information like the time and the amount of BPM that you have changed. Let's just go to the other modes real quick. Looper mode, again, you have your sampler here. It is pretty much the exact same thing as the sampler on the iPad, and the same thing on the looper. What you lose is the volume fader down here. But if you press this button in the middle, you could individually change the volume fader. 4-deck mode, yes, you can DJ with up to 4 decks on the phone, and it's really cool. But things are going to be really smushed together. So if you plan on using 4-deck mode, you're probably going to want to use the iPad. Video mode. And then video mode is still really powerful on the phone too, to DJ with music videos and the visualizer. And then also, of course, auto mix is pretty much exactly the same. Now next is connectability. If you want to connect stuff to your iPad, you could get something like this, and then you could connect multiple USBs and even HDMI. With the phone, you can get one of these. They also make the attachment for HDMI. This one is for a controller. So most controllers, if you're using this adapter, and I'll leave a link down below, I would recommend getting the Apple official one. If you have it plugged in, then you could pretty much use any controller. You could use a lot of the controllers that you could for the iPad. And then for audio, because the new iPhones don't have an audio jack, you're going to need something like this that can go into the charging port and then let you connect headphones or speakers. And then the same thing with the iPad, so you're still going to need an adapter. They took away the headphone jack in the iPad as well. And then both devices, if you're using one of these audio devices, then you could plug a headphone splitter like this. I'll leave a link down below for the headphone splitter. Plug it in, and you could use your headphones that way. And if you guys want to learn how to use headphones with the DJay Pro app for the phone, check out this video over here. Thank you for watching.